When I got my ADHD diagnosis, I didn't know what to feel, and I was surprised by a feeling of grief because finally I was able to see my life and understand the reasons for so many things. Why I left some jobs, why I couldn't focus in some situations, and what was the cost of not knowing that sooner. Hi, I'm Anto. Welcome to my channel. This is where I talk about my experiences of software engineer. If you're interested, consider subscribing. In this video, I'm gonna cover what has been my journey with the ADHD from the diagnosis till today. And my intention is to help others that are in a similar situation or people that didn't have the diagnosis and they are wondering if they have ADHD. So for years before the diagnosis, I thought I was an imposter, I was fake, I was not great. And most of the time, everything was happening because I was lucky or I had to hide my true nature. I had constantly this voice in my head telling me, what's wrong with you? Why you cannot focus? Why you cannot do simple things like everybody else is doing? Why at work you need to wait till the last minutes to do your job? And this also had an impact on self-esteem, on the way you see yourself and the way you relate to others. So one of the first things I realized after the diagnosis was why I left jobs where I didn't have any problem. I liked the environment, I liked the people I was working with. It's just that I couldn't stay there. And with time I realized it was because I was bored. It was lack of excitement, lack of challenge. So as soon as you join a new job, you want to prove yourself, so you work extra hard for those moments of appreciation where people give you feedback. But after a while, when people know you, they will stop giving you that positive feedback and probably they will focus more on the negative and trying to tell you what's next, where you can improve. Also, the type of work that you're doing, probably you have achieved what you had to achieve and now you are operating your system more in maintenance mode. That becomes quite painful for an ADHD brain that has the impression that everything is slowing down. Your life is paused or is going in slow motion, and that's where the struggle comes from. The other things that happens after you get your diagnosis, and this is a period that can last quite a long time. So for me, it lasted more than 1 year. And you are going through every single painful moment of your life, and you are seeing them through the lens of ADHD. You are trying to see if that behavior or that problem that you had was caused or had an implication with ADHD, with your ADHD. And you will realize that most of your decisions, most of your behavior were dictated by the lack of dopamine. And you weren't lazy or was not lack of commitment, was just lack of dopamine. So you weren't able to operate in a normal way. You needed to have something else. That's one thing you realize. You also realize why some of your behaviors that other people see strange for you are perfectly normal, because those are mechanisms that you created to compensate. So you have created a set of tools that help you to be on time, not be late, make sure you pay attention or deliver things on time that help you, but they don't make absolutely any sense for others. And I am discovering this with my wife. She looks at me saying, oh, why are you doing this thing? Why you have this behavior? And now I can explain. Before I was like, I don't know, that's what my brain tells me to do. So these are only the mechanisms that you put in place just to live a normal life, just to be able to operate in a world that is not designed for you. So if you don't have an ADHD diagnosis, but you're wondering if you have ADHD, my suggestion is find a specialist, try to get diagnosed and try to understand a little bit more about you, because there are a number of behaviors that you may relate to, but you may not have ADHD or you may have ADHD. Knowing will 100% help you. So regardless if you have it or not, at that point you know what is your problem, you know what is the next step. So if you are zoning out in long meetings or you lose interest in jobs after 6 months, or you are able to hyper focus for a limited period of time and produce what other people are producing in days or weeks, then you should try to be on top of all these behaviors and try to understand how you can fix them. The other thing is, don't feel you have to hide these things. For a number of years, I felt that I was wrong and I was trying to hide all these behaviors. It's not healthy, it's not gonna help you, and you live a life that is very miserable. You live like you are cheating while you're not. So on the other side, there is also, I see ADHD as a superpower. I see that as a superpower because if you know how to create the right environment around you, you can focus better than others. You can spot patterns that other people don't see. You can work in the chaos and during crisis in much better way and more relaxed way than anybody else. You can see solutions where others see problems. That's a superpower that I will never switch for anything else. I'm proud of having ADHD because I know that is giving me more power, and the trick is only understanding how you can manage your energies. So now, how I changed after the diagnosis. After the diagnosis, I realized that I needed to pay attention to different signals. Before, I wasn't understanding what was going on. So sometimes I was operating in a perfect way. Some other times I was unable to cope with all the symptoms. So what happened is that I started reading, because now you can label things. You know that you have ADHD. You can see what others are living, what are their experiences, how they're trying to fix things. Before, I was watching all these videos about productivity. Productivity tips for neurotypicals are completely useless for ADHD brains because they use different tricks, different structures to keep your focus, keep your attention, and make sure you are accountable. For ADHD brains, what I realized is that you have to build your own productivity framework, your own tools. So I made a video a few months ago about my productivity framework, and I wrote a book about that. So if you want, you can find the link up here or down in the description. And again, that is my framework. It may work for you or may not work for you. You probably have to build your own framework, but learning about others' experiences is what helped me to build my own framework. So I suggest you have a look. It's free. A few other things that I learned was how my relationship with food. What type of food will help me? What type of food will slow me down? When is a good time to eat? When is not a good time to eat? So now I am organizing my day based on the activity that I need to do. And then based on that, I decide if I need to do exercise, when to do exercise, when to eat, what to eat. And this is the basis to make sure you can focus and you can be at your peak performance during specific times. Before, I had no clue. I wasn't doing that. And sometimes I was brilliant, some other times I was. So having the diagnosis gave me this clarity and enabled me to create the framework that helps me to cope with all the symptoms and counterbalance them. So creating all these compensating mechanisms is exactly what you need to do. And the diagnosis is the step one to start in the right direction. So to close this video, I want to say that the diagnosis helped me not just to understand how to operate, and it didn't just explain that my brain was wired differently, but also gave me a new relationship with myself and with my past. I was able to explain to myself why I wasn't broken, I wasn't wrong. It was just that I was wired differently. So that helps you to accept some of the mistakes that you have done, and also helps you to be more kind with yourself. I think the ADHD people are very hard on themselves, and that is not nice. So be kind to yourself. Hopefully this video helps you. So if you have questions or you want to talk, feel free to reach out through my comments, through my videos, and hopefully this is going to help you. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and see you in the next one. Bye.